Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, everyone, or good evening, everyone, depending on where you are connecting from. Okay, my job has been made very easy in the sense that Dr. David here has done a fantastic job, followed by Dr. Nkem, as Mr. Ayo wants to call it, and my wonderful senior boss here, that's the person of Mr. David Alozie, and everything has been set. So the time will be more of interaction questions around cybersecurity, around cybersecurity. So that's where I'll be looking at. I'll just drift to what I have to share. So I'll be sharing my screen right now so we could cybersecurity from now to the future. As I said, Dr. David just he laid the ground for me. He said cybersecurity, that feature we're seeing back in those days when we used to watch Danger Mouse, Super Ted, Voltron, that feature is already here already. It's already here with us. So it's from now to the future. And Mr. Ayo, as I said, people have already laid the ground for my work. So Ayo said something that, and I want to quote from Bill Gates. He said, if your business is not on the internet, then your business will soon be out of business. Every one of us now, if I should do an investigative work on our phones, we have either Jumia, Konga, Uber, Bolt, InDrive, you know them now. We have Amazon, we have Facebook, we have several apps on our phones. 20 years ago, these apps were brick and mortar, but now they have taken their essential services to the cloud. If I ask you now, where's Jumia's office? Nobody can tell me. You don't know their drop-off point. If I tell you where's Amazon's office, you know their drop-off point. If I tell you where's Uber's office in Nigeria, you might not know, okay, there's one administrative office, but where's their office per se? So all these have gone to the cloud. And this quote by this wonderful guru has laid the premise for what we want to talk about today. This fact sheet that was produced, that Biden signed is an executive order charting new calls for cybersecurity. And I know one thing for sure. Anything that happens in the West doesn't stay in the West. Anything that happens in the West cascade down to especially in the developing part of the country. And our government probably just copy and paste. So this as well has already been implemented. It's already been implemented with this particular administration of this new government. So it's also sending a very, very new course to improve national cybersecurity and protect federal government workers. I was privileged to be in Abuja late last year, and I was discussing with top security organizations in Nigeria here on how they want to foster cybersecurity as against any form of cyber attacks. Because even the military as well, they're looking at combating threats both on land and even on the cyberspace. So Mr. Dr. David said something that what is cybersecurity? Is there. Cybersecurity is known as digital security is the practice of protecting your digital informations, devices, and assets that include your personal informations, accounts, files, photos, and even your money. That's the core of it. And somebody asks, what is that's CIA? We'll call it CIA. Yes. So I can know the acronyms very well. One is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These are the three things that actually hold cybersecurity. But your secret must be kept so that nobody who does not have access to your apps or your applications or your servers or your network will have access to it. Integrity means making sure that that information that is there has not been altered. Like I tell people, if you go to Coca-Cola's headquarters in Atlanta, the formula of Coca-Cola is in a file, and that file has been encrypted. So if tomorrow I go to that file and I make an alteration, or I copy that file and make another file, it immediately alters the former file. And with that, the integrity is already compromised. So that is what the concept of cybersecurity is. We are trying to make everyone aware. So these are things that we need to put in our minds that, okay, cybersecurity is not about, okay, being on the internet, which is good. Almost these three pillars must also be abided by. And the last is availability. Make sure that anytime you access information, your informations can be accessed. I tell my friends who work in the IT of banks that where they have no issues, they have no control over it. That most times, end of month, I don't know if you have not, end of month, find out that most banking applications don't work optimally. Should that be the case? Because that's an avenue for someone to do any hacking job, neat. The hacker says, okay, end of job in Nigeria, end of month in Nigeria, we can carry out a hacking activity. Because why? Most of the bank's applications are used to service their end of month reports. So most times, The internet bandwidth is not supplied to various parts of their servers or applications. I don't go technical. I want to give you the overview of what I'm talking about. So reverse tryout, the same thing. Disclosure, alteration. So once there's disclosure, cybersecurity has been kicked in. As against what? As against confidentiality. Once there's alteration, that means availability has been what? Has been denied. The same thing once there's destruction. That means what? Availability has also been compromised. So these are things to ensure confidentiality. These are things we need to actually do: encryption, data classification, strict access control. I want to really hammer on strict access controls for organizations. HR, don't worry, I'm coming to you. That's why I want to rush this part, this concept, so that I can get it. It has already been explained by everybody from Dr. David. This has all been explained. But I want to just give you an overview before I go back to the meat of the matter. That's what we're going to discuss. And strict access control is one thing I feel HR you can take that up. Knowing fully well that you have an enterprise, you work in an IT company, even not an IT company, it could be a service company. Nobody should have given full access or full privilege to what he wants. If someone says, okay, no, I need to access the reports for what marketing has done for this month, give him a read access as against a read and write access. Give people the privilege they need to do their jobs. After they have done it, you can reverse that privilege. That way you can, that's way you can maintain strict access control. And whenever I teach ISOs, this is one thing I tell people, that the process is very important, even as the people are very important. So the next one is rigorous authentication controls, traffic padding, extensive personnel training. It is very critical. We are doing that today, training people. To ensure integrity, strict access control should also come to play. Object data encryption. Yes, object data encryption. I told you about Coca-Cola. There's what we call file hashing. If, for instance, now I have a file where I've kept all my formulas or all my patents for my company, if I've kept it and someone goes there to alter it, it automatically changes the number. Most OEMs have that. So with that, you know that your file has already been compromised, and the integrity of that file, you cannot vouch for it. So most times, most companies that work with files, work with patents, work with formulas, this is one thing they use as well to ensure integrity of their files across the network as well. So rigorous authentication controls. Nowadays, people use emails, password, fingerprint, your eyelashes and the rest, your eyelids. That is to make sure it's rigorous. Nobody's username and password again is, as someone said, I don't know who the person was, is becoming obsolete. That's the truth. Just the same way 2G. I doubt no one is using 2G here. The least any of us is 3.5G. Nobody's using 2G here. That same way username and password is obsolete. Fine, some of us use it for our less critical applications, like maybe your Facebook, your Yahoo, and the rest, your Gmail. When it comes to some critical workloads, your banking apps, it has gone higher now. They have tokens, they have passwordless now. So that's one of those things. And IDS, which is intrusion detection systems, personnel, then training, interface restrictions, input and function checks. To ensure availability, these are things you need to do. I want to rush about this. What is IAA? Is identification, authentication, authorization, and accountability. This is to be sent to you. They are clear to read. They're not technical here. It's clear to read. I want to hit the road running and focus on your questions, because most of you have bogus questions, and I want to answer practically everything if given the time I have. There's risk and management. These are basically risk responses, modern cryptography. These are things for your encryption. Talk about cybersecurity. Most times you enter facebook.com, and when you hit enter, you see a blue landing page. What has happened is that an algorithm has just taken place whereby an encryption has gone, whereby when you send facebook.com, it encrypts your data. It gets to Facebook servers, it returns that blue landing page you are seeing as encrypted format, and it lands on your phone, decrypts it. That's the key, the basic high level overview of encryption. So now social engineering, which Dr. David mentioned about. So they say it's a noun, and I believe it is the act of manipulating people into performing actions or diverging confidential informations. I was doing a training for an NGO, and I gave this scenario. When it comes to social engineering, I want to paint this scenario to everyone to actually know. It's not for you to be scared, but for you to actually brace up. And for the HRO guys, yeah, fine. When you go out, you network, you give out your cards, but in that could actually be a risk. I'm not saying giving out your card is not bad. It's not good. But remember that once you start doing these things, you have to ensure that at your back end, everything is secured. Because as an ethical hacker, I can pick up your card. Okay, I know your email address. It's left for me to just go on LinkedIn or go on any social media sites, or we have them as well. Go to Windows Exchange, pick out the algorithms of or the naming patterns of everybody's in your organization. Once I get it, okay, I'll now find who is the CIO of this organization. The person should have several privileges. I'll do my work and find out how can I meet this man. Because with that card alone, I've gotten so much information about your company and I can start my hacking work. When you go for events, oh, birthday party, you want to socialize, give your cards out. But the truth of the matter is that you must ensure one thing, that back home, your infrastructure is safe. Because yeah, I was hacked. It just left for me to just send a phishing mail to everybody in your organization or a ransomware. Anybody that clicks it, he surrenders his own credentials and I now come into your network and I start wreaking havoc time by time. Something happened. I was privileged to be called upon by last year as well, a betting company. Two, one was hacked and one was about to be hacked. After one was hacked, I was called. My company called me and said, we have a customer who is a betting company. I come. They already compromised already, and the person already was already planning to do what damage. Imagine a company where one person, one user he hacked into one of the accounts that was available, and he gave himself 3,500 privileges on Google. They are using a Google platform. So with that alone, he was going to do and undo. So that came through what? A phishing mail. So these are the concept of social engineering. So when you go to social engineering, try and train your workers so that don't click any link that is not what sent from unauthorized users. Even when it's sent from authorized users, there are solutions that can help you. That's what they were talking about, AI solutions. Yes. There are email AI solutions that see the patterns of email address and sends the IPs from where it's coming from. If an email address is coming from a place like Belarus or Russia, there are some OEMs right now. Microsoft does it, Azure does it, AWS does it, Oracle does it. Any IP coming from Russia with a very funny email pattern, they block it from their infrastructure. So these tools will help the HR guys. Let's go along. So this is the concept of social engineering. Number one here, the social engineer gathers information about the clients. Number two, the social engineer poses as a legitimate person and builds trust with the victim. Number three, the social engineer gathers information about the victim. Number four, he does the damage he wants to do. So this is how the circle goes round and round and round. Before you knew it, a big organization has been hacked. Now, this is the $1 million question. HR and cybersecurity. How does that go? How do you marry that? When I was employed by my organization as their lead consultant in cybersecurity, I asked them one question. Where do you store my personal data? Because I gave you the name of my wife, the name of my children, my house address, my phone number. I'm at risk. If tomorrow now somebody who hates me comes and hack into your system, he can easily find where I live and come and do damage. They told me that they have stored it on Google. Google. Stored it on Google. No, OneDrive. I mean OneDrive. It's stored in OneDrive and they have encryption secured in the cloud. I said, okay, can I take a look at the architecture? And it was really robust. That's what my HR, not the company itself. That was what the HR did. So now let me start doing my research that why are most organizations not looking at this area? So when my boss, Ms. Ayo, called me, I said it's a good way for us to actually enlighten HR people as well. Not even HR people, cybersecurity people can go to HR and say, we need to start implementing these particular gauges in our cybersecurity structure. Because I'm telling you one thing, in Nigeria here, everybody, I don't know, wherever in the parts of the world, in the western parts of the world, if you're hearing me, you guys are already developed. Because if anybody's data is leaked, I can sue for millions of dollars. Imagine that happening to an SME. Let's say, for instance, now you're coming up and you're an SME and you are an e-commerce site. And funny enough, my card details was leaked from your website. I could sue you. And my suing you can bring that down that company. So that is that HR needs to see how they can guard against everybody's data. Let's go into it. That's the $1 million question. How can HR combine very well with cybersecurity? These are words on marbles. According to the Society of Human Resource Management, HR records contain highly sensitive and private information. As I said, think social security number for those of you in America, For those of us in Nigeria, it's NIN, dates of birth, bank details, and home address, to name just a few. Due to this fact, it's imperative that HR professionals not only have a comprehensive understanding of how to protect data within their own department, but also within the company. The HR personnel, you are the gatekeepers. You employ the tech guys now, you employ the CIOs. Most times you employ the EDs. So you are the gatekeepers. How well do you keep their information? Going forward, HR is uniquely equipped to humanize and promote security within an organization. And IT is missing out on an opportunity to use HR skills and insights to enhance risk mitigation. So HR has the data, they have everything. IT just need to come up with an architecture that can protect that data. Sometimes we say it's a solution to protect that data. Not something expensive, but something that is efficient. Going forward, also according to Marcy Cliffeld, that's the Senior Vice President of Employee Engagement at Business Solver, the information technology sector is not taking proper advantage of the HR department, understanding of staff procedures. And lastly on this, companies should now be utilizing their HR department to better prepare their employees for potential cyber attacks. There's a bank in Nigeria, I will not mention the bank's name. Once in a while, they send out phishing emails, ransomware emails, but they have actually they've turned off the potency. When I say turn off the potency, even if you click on it, nothing will happen to your laptop, but it will show the person that clicked on it, those who clicked on it. So they come up with a security policy that once you click on it, you get a warning. If you click on it again, you get maybe another warning. The third time you get a suspension. Then the fourth time you get a sack. And their HR department came up with that program. We worked with them, we developed it. And periodically they send it to everybody, from the MD to everybody. So everyone knows that there's some links I don't click. So they got solutions that can help them. Even despite the solutions, people were still clicking on the link. So most times, if you're dealing with human beings, you cannot outright that fact that sometimes we just want to just explore, and it affects us greatly. So what are the action points? What do HR runs? How can we incorporate HR into our cybersecurity trainings and procedures going forward? These are the ones I've just named. These are the critical ones. One, create a cybersecurity culture in your office. Now, David said something that it is the future. And David, Mr. just said something as well that AI has come to, Mr. Joel, AI has come to play. In the way we recruit, we write our proposals, AI has come to stay. So why don't you create even in this AI as well? Forgive my digression. Microsoft have come up with some, because a friend of mine was asking me, this AI, how do we secure ourselves? I said, very easy. I met with Microsoft 3 weeks ago, and they said that they come up with what we call Microsoft Copilot for security as well, whereby you as a security professional, you can manage every of your enterprise from Microsoft Copilot. It will show you vulnerabilities, to help you anticipate vulnerabilities, and to help you as well mitigate it as well. There's Microsoft for GitHub. There's Microsoft for Office 365. You can ask your Excel, give me data, please help me and mine this data for me. Let me know the best employee I have. It will do everything for you. So that part, AI has come to help us. But why it has come to help us, we need to secure those models. Those models that we are creating around AI, regenerative AI, we have to secure those models, because if those models are tampered with, we're in big trouble. So that's what Microsoft have come up with, a solution that can help with that. Google is working on that, AWS is working on that as well. So back to what I was saying, we have to create a cybersecurity culture in our organization, in our offices. Yes, it should be a culture. In my organization, if you are working on your desk and you stand up without locking your desk, you get a fine. You get it, because somebody can go there and do havoc, because you already have access to some infrastructures of some customers, high-end customers. So most times, if you are leaving your desk, you lock your laptop. It's part of the culture. So creating a cybersecurity culture is one way to start. Number two, helping produce more comprehensive cybersecurity policies. I gave an example of the banks. Because first I say, I want to buy this technology. No, this thing must be on ground first as HR person. Before you go and buy any technology, this thing must be on ground first. Basic things. Your password must be at least 12 with uppercase, with an ampersand, with characters. Must be 12. That way it's harder to hack. The longer your password, the more it's hard for hackers to crack it. Yes, I have tools to use to crack password and even Wi-Fi's. But if it's not too long, I can't crack. But if it's long, I can crack it. What we call John the Ripper. This will crack passwords. Let's not go there. That's the dark side. Okay. So helping produce more comprehensive cybersecurity policies. In the sense that look at the bank. The bank simply said that if you do this, and who wants to get sacked? Nobody wants to get sacked or get a query because to be in your file. So everybody has to behave himself. If a mail comes, you read it very well before you do anything. If a link comes, you make sure that this link, try and contact IT. That this link code, should I click on it or they can sandbox it for you. The next one is identify the level of risk exposure regarding employee records. For instance, now, you're an employee coming from a place, a company that was hacked. It might not be your fault, but sometimes when attacks happen, there's no disclosure. Especially in this part of the world, several banks are being hacked. Several FCMGs are being hacked, but you don't hear about it. It's we in the industry that hear about it and help to get to remediate it. So if I'm coming from an organization that was hacked to your organization, and you know about it during the interview, okay, and you employ me as a HR person, you have to ask me because this risk exposure is risk exposure already. I'm coming from a company that was hacked. Okay, what are your understanding of cybersecurity? If you don't ask that question, it could be that the person that was through him that company was hacked is working to your own company without you knowing. So this is where HR have to be up on their game. Then also you have to further educate your employees on cybersecurity risks. Then lastly, adding an extra layer of protection against internal attacks. Very simple. If you don't have access to this, I can't give you access to, okay, I want to have access to, if someone in IT say wants to have access to what marketing is doing on their server. No, you don't have that. It should not be marketing for marketing, IT for IT. In case you need to send a mail to be documented, if it's approved, after 24 hours, once you have done your work, please let it be reversed. These are extra layers of protection you can put. Buying antivirus for your laptops or in your office. These are things that you cannot add. Before you start talking about the technology, I tell people the people are important because in the cybersecurity chain, the people are the weakest link, not the technology and not even the process. Once you put the people in check and the process, if you add technology, you have a solid, robust cybersecurity infrastructure. Okay, so with that, I want to ask for questions.
Once there's an attack, how do you mitigate? How do you solve the problem? I mean, it has happened. I give an instance. We do a lot of online business. One of my colleagues, he has a site that is ranking, doing very well in terms of domain rating. His site is over 50. I mean, that's high for a business owner, and for that, he has his traffic is massive. It's across Nigeria and every other part of the world. They suddenly the site started speaking Japan. You understand? Somebody just jack it up from Japan and use it to upgrade their own DR in Japan. So meaning that this guy will not, if anybody finds this site on Google search and clicks it, all you'll be seeing is Japanese language. And the guy did not know anything to do, so he began to call and to figure out, and it took almost more than 6 months to be able to solve that problem. So the question is, when this thing happens, what do you suggest? I mean, beyond just sites, the phone hacking, emails, and all of that. What would you suggest? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that question, Mr. Carlo. When something like this happen, like I want to take this case as a case scenario. This website, it is registered on a domain. That
Yes.
should be the first point of call. And did it buy SSL?
Yes.
Secured of good. That should be the first point of call.
It has.
It has. It has SSL. That should be the first.
But apparently, it's not a high level. SSL has levels.
Because I know I'm going to do one for a bank tomorrow right now. So it has that level, as I said, they have levels. That's why if that has been the case, depending on the wild card he got, most times, most people would like to play. You have a business that is trying, but you want to play corners. They say, buy this, no, it's too expensive, and I can't buy it. If you change yourself for 6 months without business, that's going to be critical. But on a general level, once something like this actually happens, what I have to do most, you have to see how you can triage it. If it's a server, remove it from the network and put it in a sandbox so you can know exactly what actually happened. It could be a virus, a ransomware, so you can start from there to start mitigating against it. Sometimes it will be someone just clicking on a phishing link and surrenders everything. So that would be You have to say you can go into whether it's a server or a network. You triage the system where it's coming from, because most times for some cybersecurity solutions, you can see who does what and who did what or who did not do what. That's why we have audit logs. So those audit logs will be the way you can start tracing who did what and what, from what system, what computers, or what devices. So that is the first. So if you once you have done that, remove the, let's say, the contaminants, the device, remove it from the network. You can start triaging it. When I mean triage, you can start remediating, correcting what went wrong before you bring it back into the network. Okay, David has a David's hand is up.